Hey everyone, and welcome to the Journey of Finance. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I plan to achieve financial independence, so stay tuned. I'm super excited for today's video because I'm going to be sharing some of my plans to achieve financial independence in hopes that it's going to inspire and motivate all of you who are aiming to achieve the same. But first, a bit about me. I'm an entrepreneur, freelance filmmaker, commercial model, investor, and I run 2 YouTube channels, and I help my fiance with her YouTube channel as well. I'm very passionate about personal finance, more specifically on how to achieve financial independence so that I can live life on my own terms. I'm also passionate about helping others to achieve financial independence here on the Journey of Finance. So if you're new around here, take a moment right now to hit that subscribe button and notification bell because I upload videos every week on how you can achieve financial independence and live life on your own terms. You definitely don't want to miss out. And one last thing, be sure to hit that like button and share this video with someone who is on the journey of financial independence. So I'm making this video for 2 main reasons. The first reason is I want to inspire others who are on a journey of financial independence so that they can be motivated to make a plan, take action, and just start. The second reason for this video is to be able to look back at my own journey and to see if my plan has changed or stayed the same. So I'll share my current plan on how I plan to achieve FI and some of the methods that I'll use, fully acknowledging that these plans can change in the future as I progress and learn more on my journey. I'll be keeping things high level in this video, so I won't be diving too deep into numbers. We can save that for future videos. What is financial independence? When you Google the term financial independence, you might find different definitions, but in its simplest form, financial independence can be defined as having enough wealth and passive income built up to live off of without having to rely on a job or salary. Arguably, true financial independence would mean that you are consumer debt free, so you are independent of any obligations to pay anyone back. For many, real estate debt is excluded from this definition. So for me, achieving financial independence will mean that I would have built up enough wealth, primarily through my investments, to be able to live off of the passive income that it provides and retire if I wanted to. And we'll talk about the retire part later in the video. So what's my why for FI? I have many different reasons for achieving financial independence, but I'll share a few of my top ones. Freedom with my time. This is probably one of the most important reasons for FI. The older I get, the more I realize the value of time because of its finite nature. If you think about it, we spend about 1/3 of our lives sleeping. A huge portion of the rest of our time, for many of us, is spent working so that we can make enough money to live. And I don't want to spend the majority of my life working just to support a life where all I do is work and sleep. I'd rather spend my time on things that are meaningful to me, like relationships, experiences, and doing the things that I want to do. Focus on my passion projects. I have different passion projects that I've already started and some that I want to start in the future. If I'm able to regain my time back and not be stressed about where my income will come from, then I'll be able to devote more time to working on these projects which will contribute to society in some way. Flexibility of movement. With the type of FI that I'm aiming to achieve, it will allow me to be more mobile. I don't want to have a sense of being confined to one location or not having the option or ability to pick up and move to another state or even country for that matter. With the type of work that I plan on doing, having the flexibility would be great. Leaving a legacy. I want to be able to pass down wealth to the next generation so that they can continue the legacy to future generations. So my Plantify isn't a solo effort, but something that my fiance and I are working towards together. I'm very grateful to have a partner that is on the same page, has the same goals, and is the other half of our financial independence efforts. Plus, it makes the journey a lot more fun. Let's talk about the methods and strategies I plan to use to achieve FI. It's a bit more challenging in my situation to project numbers 5 or 10 years out since I don't work a salary job and my income fluctuates monthly. I also am actively working towards increasing my income streams and income amount as well. So I don't know exactly how much money I'll be bringing in a year from now. So with that in mind, here is a list of my current income sources that I'm using to achieve FI. I do plan on creating more streams of income in the near future as well as the distant future. I'll put it under the category of future income sources. Because I have different sources of income that all typically bring in different amounts each month, I have to take a different approach to investing my income. My current plan is to take about 80 to 90% of all of my income left over in my monthly budget after all expenses are paid and to put it all into my different investments. Most people are able to determine a savings rate because they have generally a consistent pay schedule and income amount, but since I don't, my savings rate in relation to my income will fluctuate. But like I said, my saving strategy is quite aggressive because essentially anything I have left over will go towards my investments. Now, there will be exceptions to this, like if I need to temporarily save up for a purchase, like a new computer or a car, or maybe a down payment on a home. But since I don't need to save up for those things now, I'm putting all of my money to work. So here are the assets that I'm currently planning to use to achieve FI. Stock market investments. I have several different stock market investments to help me achieve different goals. My first investment that takes priority in terms of where my money goes is my Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is an individual retirement account that allows you to invest after-tax dollars into the investments of your choosing, and it grows tax-free. Once you hit the age of 59 and a half, you're able to start taking tax-free withdrawals from this account. Now, the reason why I say this account takes priority is because the Roth IRA has an annual contribution limit of $6,000 or $7,000 if you're 50 or older, so that means you're limited to how much you can contribute each year. So I want to make sure that I take advantage of the tax-free growth and max out this account each year. My income is currently under the income limits that qualifies me to contribute to the Roth. Once my income goes over those limits, then I will open up a traditional IRA which doesn't have those income limits. I will have to invest pre-tax dollars, but I can enjoy the benefits of tax-deferred growth until I start taking withdrawals at retirement. At that point, I would have to pay ordinary income taxes on those withdrawals. After I max out my Roth IRA, then I'll focus a majority of my money on investing in index funds, which are a pool of many different stocks that track a particular index, like the S&P 500. These funds have diversification built in because I'm not just investing in one individual company, but many. These funds are not actively managed, which means the fees are low and they have historically great returns. Some of my favorite index funds are from Vanguard because the fees are comparatively low and their performance has been outstanding. I don't have many individual stocks since I don't find value in spending time managing a bunch of stocks. But as my wealth increases, I do plan on adding individual companies to my portfolio. However, I think that index funds will make up the majority of my stocks. So my stock market investments currently make up a majority of my investments, but that will change because I have a plan to incorporate a big portion of this next investment vehicle into my overall portfolio over the next few years. Real estate investments. Now, I absolutely love real estate. At the moment, I don't own any real estate in my investment portfolio, but over the next few years, that's gonna change. My main strategy and investment objective is going to be to purchase cash flowing real estate in the form of single family homes and small multifamily. I haven't settled on which one I will start with, but I've been thinking about potentially house hacking by purchasing a small 2 or 3 unit property, living in one of them and renting out the other 2. Eventually, I wanna build up my portfolio with cash flowing real estate that will also appreciate over time. I'll talk a little bit more about how I plan to do this in the future, but that's the general objective. I want to eventually have an investment portfolio that is at least 50% in real estate or even more. Cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency has been responsible for making thousands of millionaires in the past year and some essentially overnight. My stance on cryptocurrency is that it is still a super young, highly volatile, and in many cases, a super speculative asset class. However, I do think that crypto is here to stay, and it's just a matter of how things will play out over the next few years as things get more established in the mainstream. My plan is to have about a small percentage of my portfolio, about 5% in cryptocurrency, mainly in Bitcoin because it's the most established, it serves as a hedge against inflation, and it's digital gold. I only got in earlier this year, so unfortunately, I wasn't able to capitalize on those crazy gains like those who bought a few years ago and held. But because of the finite nature of this asset class, I want to make sure that I own a small piece of the pie, and as they say, hodl. My current allocation is about 60-30 Bitcoin and Ethereum. The remaining 10% of my crypto portfolio is spread out over just a few altcoins. Because crypto is still highly volatile, my strategy is to just hold what I have and dollar cost average a small amount into my portfolio monthly. Cash. I think it's really important to have cash as part of my financial plan for 2 main reasons. One, having the cash on hand in the event of an emergency is vital in creating a buffer for the rest of my investments. For example, if I ever come across an emergency situation where I might need to access cash, I can do so without interrupting my current investments or income. This might be an unexpected emergency medical expense or a down month where my income dips below what I need to survive that month. I currently have 6 months worth of expenses in my emergency fund, and I think this is adequate for me at this point. I am considering up upping the amount of cash for emergencies when I get to a point where I've built up a sizable nest egg. Some early retirees actually keep about 1 to 2 years of emergency savings for those periods where the market is down so that they can use their cash instead of realizing losses in their portfolio. But this is something that I'll revisit in the future. The other reason I would want to hold cash is because I'm saving up for a specific purpose. Now, this cash account would be separate from my emergency savings and would be dedicated to saving up for a real estate purchase or having liquid cash ready to deploy into the stock market. You may have noticed that I didn't include a 401k or a pension, and that's because I'm self-employed and I don't work for a company, so I don't have access to those. I am looking into setting up a solo 401k, which allows for eligible small business owners to contribute to their own 401k, so I may add that as an option, and I'll keep you posted. As far as Social Security, I'm treating it as if it won't be here when I reach retirement age, and if it's still here, then it's just a little sugar on top for me. I don't have a particular timeline for achieving FI, and that's simply because, honestly, I cannot predict where my businesses and income will be in several years, let alone next year. I'm still building my income and have projects that I've yet to start, so it's very hard for me to project when I'll be able to achieve financial independence. But my actual goal is to be able to achieve FI in 10 years from now. That means I have a whole decade to make that happen, which I think is realistic for me. Let's talk about the retiring early part. So one of the ideas behind FI is to have the option of retiring early because you've built up enough assets and passive income to be able to do so. Now for me, I don't plan on stopping or retiring in the traditional sense of the word. I plan on working for the rest of my life, but I just want to be able to work on my own terms, creating my own projects and still running my own businesses. I just want to be able to say that I've reclaimed my time back and can spend it how I want without the worry of where my income will come from. And that's how I plan to achieve financial independence. I hope that you found some value, inspiration, or even ideas from this video. The most important thing to achieving financial independence is to create a plan and to take action. Your plan doesn't have to be perfect, and it will change as you grow and evolve, but at least you'll be taking the right steps forward on your FI journey. I'm really curious to hear from all of you watching. Let me know in the comments how you are planning to achieve financial independence, and I'd love to hear your ideas as well. If you're interested in content that will help you on your journey to financial independence, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and click on that notification bell to get notified of new videos every week. Also, be sure to share this video with someone you know so that they can get some inspiration for their financial journey. See you in the next video. Peace.